Alright fellas, let's talk delts. It's been a long time coming. We all want big meaty cat delts, that Derek from More Plates, More Dates, Dr. Delt's Death Star look. I have pretty jacked shoulders, front delt, side delt, rear delt. All my homies that work with me, they have jacked shoulders. I can't say that I can credit very much of that to the conventional wisdom of, we'll just do lateral raises and just do rear delt flies. That works. Those exercises are time tested. Those exercises are not the boogeyman. And if you want just the conventional quick tips, yeah, just do those 2 exercises. But if you want to maximize your results and do all that can be done each day, you're gonna wanna follow my foolproof Dr. Delt's protocol, as I like to call it. It combines those conventional exercises with a few interesting ways to modify the way that you do them, along with a few exercises that I add into the rotation to really maximize your delt development. Now, my Dr. Delt's protocol is not going to require anything but a barbell, dumbbells, hard work, consistency, sleep, and enough calories to grow. Those are the bare minimum for any program that you follow with any muscle group in order for you to make progress. If you're not willing to be dedicated to the process, if you're not willing to adequately recover, and you're not willing to eat more calories than your body needs in a day so that you can grow, this video is not the video for you. And anyone who sells you anything past that bare bones common sense knowledge, they're lying to you and they're trying to get you to buy something more than likely. We're gonna get to the side delts. We have to start with the front delt. We're gonna go to side delts and finish up with rear delts. Now we have our buddy Final Form Frieza in his 100% form here. For the Dragon Ball Z enjoyers, we know him to have enormous delts. I have his shoulder blade lifted up to illustrate some of the anatomy. But with front delts, it's the most minimalistic part of your delt in terms of exercises that you'll need to develop it. You're already doing some of these exercises more than likely. 99% of you are doing some form of barbell bench pressing and some form of either dumbbell or barbell overhead pressing. You don't need very much in terms of exercises to develop your front delt. It's so common for this muscle group to be hyper developed that a lot of people have poor posture because of it. I think it's called kyphotic posture, whatever the gigabrain term is. Now there's a way that I like to program those exercises on the Dr. Delt's protocol, and it's going to be specifically with a close grip of both of those exercises. The reason being is that when you use a close grip, your shoulders are more flush to your body and you get a deeper stretch and a bigger range of motion. It's really going to be important for carryover between those 2 lifts as well, meaning if you want your close grip bench to have carryover to your overhead press, you're going to want to do them with a similar grip width. If you're doing wide grip bench press and close grip overhead press, that's where those 2 movements don't really feed synergistically into one another. And then obviously from a bodybuilding perspective, you're not really working your front delt as well as with a close grip bench when you're doing a wide grip bench press. Now for side delts, that's honestly what most of you guys clicked on the video for. How do you get that width? I would be remiss if I did not mention my favorite side delt exercise. It's not a lateral raise. It's not even the Lou raise, which I do as well. It's the upright row. I'm the upright row guy. Now, there are skeptics that are so convinced that this exercise is just dangerous inherently for your shoulders. I want to take this opportunity to show you guys a quick tutorial on how to make the upright row work for you. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it. Barbells, dumbbells, grip widths, the amount of fingers that you have on the bar. There's a lot of ways to make this movement work for people of different builds, experience levels, and strength levels. Anyone, almost anyone, unless you just have joint structure that is inhuman, can use this exercise and make it work for them. What it brings to the table is not only side delt development, but it works your rear delts, it works your front delts, it works your forearms, it works your biceps, it works your neck, it works your traps, it works your upper back. It brings so much to the table for it to just be an exercise that we mutually all don't do because of an Athlete X video we watched when we were 13 years old, which cites shoddy biomechanics. I'm going to show you how to make this movement work for you. that was the tutorial. Hopefully that was a light bulb moment for a lot of people that were either scared of the exercise or just didn't know how to make it work for them and wanted to do it. I know it was for me. The upright row was something that I actually used when I hurt my shoulder to make it feel better. Let that be food for thought. Now we're gonna move on to my second favorite side delt exercise, which is the lateral raise, popularized by Liu Xiaojun, world-class, chatty Chinese Olympic weightlifter, extremely jacked. He does this exercise not only for the side delt building, but also for shoulder mobility. If you're someone that has rotator cuff pain, you can't really put your arms overhead really well without bending your back backwards, and you just have poor overhead mobility. This is going to improve that and also put your delts, your upper back, through a tremendous range of motion, and it honestly just looks cool too. I like to combine the lateral raise with the regular lateral raise with something that I call a mechanical drop set. This is something that I got from John Meadows, rest in peace. I have a lot of respect for John Meadows and a lot of the things that he said specifically for bodybuilding. Mechanical drop set just basically means that you use full range of motion, or your standardized form. In this case with the raise, you're coming all the way up until you're unable to do so. You'll find that you're unable to go all the way up, but you can still do regular lateral raises or close enough to it. So I combine the raise with regular lateral raises, and then also with a third forbidden triple mechanical drop set, which is just a partial rep. Now, partial reps should not be something that you're doing as like your main bread and butter. But if after you've already exhausted your ability to do lateral raises and you're really trying to squeeze out every little bit of side delt development that you can in that given set, you can start doing half reps and then your quarter reps. John Meadows was really big on that as well. He's spoken a lot of videos, not only about his side delts, but his rear delts, which we'll get to in a second, that those mechanical drop sets really gave him the competitive edge in his professional bodybuilding career compared to his physique before he did those things. So an easy way that you can implement this, you just simply take one of two progression methods. You can either just do regular raises and then that be your bread and butter, or say you're 3-4 weeks into your training program, you really want to push things before you deload and pull back a little bit. You could have a week or two where you're just going ham, balls to the wall, ham bone, raises. Then right after that, lateral raises, and then right after that, your quarter reps, and that's going to give you great results for your side delts. All right, now the rear delts. This is an extremely underrated muscle group for having width from the side and just overall having stability in things like bench presses, overhead presses, and such. They're a great support muscle, and they also just add that three-dimensional look to your delts. Big rear delts are a game changer. Now, just like with the front delt, there are some foundational exercises that I want you guys to just do at a minimum. Something like a barbell row, cable rows, dumbbell rows, even pull downs if you're doing them from a little angle with a gangsta lean, are gonna work your rear delts pretty well. And for some people, not all or not even most of you guys, that's gonna be enough to develop your rear delts. I know it was for me specifically. I didn't start doing rear delt isolation until I already had rear delts that looked like this. So some of you may be in that same camp. Now, a lot of you, the minimalist approach obviously doesn't work, or else you wouldn't have watched this far into the video. You'd just be doing lateral raises and rear delt flies, and you'd have extremely jacked, capped, meaty delts. Some of you are going to need something like we talked about with the side delts, which is a little bit more variety. My favorite rear delt isolation, with that being said, has got to be the Powell raise. Now what this basically is, I think I got it from originally Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then my buddy Sam reintroduced it to me. It essentially is a rear delt fly that you're doing that has so much more range of motion and so much more stretch on your rear delt. It is a fantastic exercise. You feel it everywhere from your rear delt to your upper traps. It really feels good on your shoulders if you have tight shoulders from a lot of bench pressing as well. Now, just like with the side delts, we're gonna combine this exercise, the Powell raise, with the rear delt fly in a mechanical drop set. So you can either just do Powell raises, which are fine, Or if you're looking to eke out a little bit more rear delt development, you can do this mechanical drop set. It's the same thing. You just do power raises until you can no longer go through that full range of motion. You adjust your body here, and then you just do rear delt flies to failure. John Meadows was a big fan of that, just like I talked about with the side delts, doing these mechanical drop sets. In his words, he had weak rear delts until he started emphasizing them and doing things like this. John Meadows is a GOAT, much greater man than myself. We should all aspire to be more like him. I hold him as the golden standard in terms of fellas that are kind, strong, and have a desire for you to get jacked. Now, of course, we can't end off any rear delt promo without talking about the upright row. The upright row, of course, works the rear delts as well. If you do like we talked about in that video, you curl your wrists in, it emphasizes that rear delt a little bit more. Any way you do upright rows, regardless if you're trying to specifically bias your rear delt, it's still going to work, but there's ways that you can modify your form to bias certain things. Now, if you've made it to the end of the video, thank you. In return for your loyalty and your watch time, I have a free program for you guys too. It's just going to summarize a lot of the things that we talked about today into a template that you can add to your lower body training. That could either be something that you're already doing, 5-3-1, Texas Method, one of my free programs, whatever you happen to be doing, you can combine it with your lower body training. Now, in terms of specific lower body training programs that I recommend, I do recommend my Berserk deadlift program. I also, on my Patreon, have a general strength program and a bodybuilding program. Now, these two programs are just gonna be, programs for the Patreon crew. They gotta eat early, they have early access to programs that I updated, that I made for free, that you can find here, that I made about a year ago. Once I'm done refreshing all those programs, of course, I'm gonna release them all publicly. I just gotta give the Patreon fam a little bit of, they gotta eat, you know what I'm saying? But as I said, once I'm finished with all those will be publicly available for everybody. This was a really fun video to make, y'all. It's been a long time coming. If you have been one of those OGs that has been waiting for this video, check in down below. If you have any questions about what we talked about here, please let me know as well. I appreciate y'all. Have a good day.